All right, so one thing that's coming up in the Remix world is Remix Remix Conference is coming in May of 2023. I went last year. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. It's a very cool time. This is put on by the actual people who run Remix, not run Remix, but rather build it. And I guess you're running it. I don't know. It is remix.run, so who knows? But basically, I bring this up just because there is a CFP call for papers. If you have an idea for a talk that you want to do, or maybe a talk you've done here or a talk you want to give here that you think could go to the big leagues and you could give it to all of the people who like Remix, then go to sessionize.com/remix2023 and please submit a CFP. That would be super cool. We'd really love representation here. We've already had, several members of this community kind of stepped into the larger Remix community, which is super cool. Like, we got a MC Remix Comp EU, which was really awesome. So anyway, yeah, just throwing that out there for anyone who's interested and loves giving talks. And if you have a talk idea, but you need to work it out in real time, please reach out to me to do a talk here, because that's really what this is for, is to help people get those opportunities. Speaking of which, these are a bunch of talk ideas of stuff that you could do. We're always looking for speakers, so feel free to reach out. And we'll get to that later. So in the meantime, we are going to transition to Grant, and he's going to give our one and only talk for tonight. I can figure out how to stop sharing. There we go. Yep.
All right.
Can you do this one, or are you gonna?
Nah, I'm just gonna zoom it in. I think that tends to work a little bit better. All right. Can everybody on the call hear and let me share? But I want to make sure y'all can hear me. That was probably my fault. The control center was next to me. I do want to share one quick. Sorry, that's a little bit more than your Santa hat, but that's me on Friday with my son. I've got another Santa gig this Saturday and one next week. So if you ever thought I was Santa shaped, you are right. Okay. Let me also just turn on some do not disturb, so you don't see all my crazy text threads and chains that won't be quiet. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about what I've been working on with GitHub Actions in our CI/CD. I am first going to start sharing my desktop here. All right. And hopefully you guys are able to see this. So this is basically what our pipeline looks like right now. This has gone through a few iterations, but in general, this is kind of what we're building on top of. We've made a few changes recently I'll talk about. So in general, you can see every time that we run or push a PR up, we run a handful of things, like we run ESLint, we run some type checking, we are running vtest for doing unit tests, and then we recently changed from Cypress over to Playwright tests, and these are run on basically every PR. So hopefully as the community is pushing code up and others are reviewing it, this automates a little bit of the stuff about making sure our code looks the same. We're using Prettier and ESLint, that our types are defined. We made the decision to use TypeScript, that we have proper testing. But and then it does end up getting built and deployed. You can kind of see that, pop over there, and it gets deployed to fly.io. But there are so many other things that I think we can do with GitHub Actions in our CI/CD. So I kind of want to do a couple of things. So first, I kind of want to just talk a little bit about what GitHub Actions is. And then I want to get into what some of the files look like, especially in our repo. And then I want to talk a little bit about some of the neat things that I think we can still do. And this is where we can create issues. I think I've created one or two already, that hopefully once we get you guys set up with development environments, you feel comfortable creating PRs and contributing, that like y'all can help with this stuff too. Like, it's not just like make the website look pretty and do need stuff, you guys can also help with some of this. So first thing is what GitHub Actions is or looks like. This is what our repos list of actions and workflows look like. The cool thing is you can basically see all of the different workflows that have executed. Where did they execute? Did they come from our main branch when we actually merged something in? Did they come from a PR? Here's Colby's right here. They have some helpful icons. This little warning one, I think usually that one means it canceled. There's two pushes really close to each other and it canceled the previous workflow. So we're not running multiple workflows. So a little bit of intelligence there. Couple of things that break. And this just basically helps us to, as a community, like do team development better and have the robots tell us when things are working right or breaking. In general, what that looks like from a file perspective is something like this. Let me bump my font size and maybe hide my terminal. Okay. So this is the development workflow. This is the one that runs basically on every pull request, as well as every merge to main. And there's a couple of pretty key parts to any GitHub action. It's going to have a name. You can give it pretty names with emojis if you like. It has to have a trigger. I'm going to explain this workflow call a little bit more in a second. But typically it's like on pull request create, on label added, on merge to main. You've got a number of different ways that you can trigger this workflow to actually run. And one of them is called workflow call. That means this is a reusable workflow. And I'll show you where that's called in just a second. We do need some permissions. We can actually tell a GitHub runner what it's allowed to do. Is it allowed to read or write to PRs themselves or to the repo itself? So for example, if you wanted to make sure that you were, this is kind of a security thing, obviously it says permissions, but you can imagine using third-party actions that somebody else wrote. You're letting them run stuff on in your code base and potentially make changes to your repo. And so for a lot of times, you might want to actually remove this write action. I have some other security in place. I'll show you that in a second. The next pretty important part is this list of jobs. So we have a bunch of them. We have this ESLint. Down here, we have our type checking. Below that, we have, I think, our testing and some of our formatting. But for each job, you can give it a pretty name. It'll either use this kind of key as default, or you can give it a pretty name. We got to tell it basically what operating system we're on to. We use Ubuntu latest, which is what, 18 something for LTS probably. And then we have a list of steps here. And each steps have a couple of keywords that are pretty important. Name, just to give it a pretty name. Uses, this is how we basically go and we tell GitHub Actions to go and pull from some other repo. Now it can be our own, but it might be somebody else. So for example, I don't know who Stifle is, but he wrote a cancel workflow action that a bunch of people are using. It's 0.11, so it's obviously reliable. But a bunch of people are using it. It seems good. And because it seems good and safe and reliable and all that, you can kind of see I've actually put this directive right here for a version number. And this is how I make sure that my GitHub action is not going to break. It also means that if I know this is safe, I can lock it to one version so that down the road, if some supply chain attack happens or something like that, I'm not auto updating to whatever the latest part of this workflow is. So just a little bit of security. Some of these will start with actions. These are actually GitHub. Those are pretty reliable. And then you'll also see some of these use a keyword called with. With is basically a way to provide arguments to the action. So this one is action /setup node at V3. And this basically is going to set up your runner environment with Node.js, and we can tell it what version to run. So we're telling it 16, but we could probably pop that up to, actually I think Node is 18 LTS as well. Is that where it up? No, Ubuntu LTS might be 20 by now. It's up there, I think.
LTS is 18.12.1 right now. Yeah.
All right, good to know. We go through and we can do things like download dependencies. So this is basically going to go and run npmi for us. We can pass this action by Bamutov. Anyway, a lot of people using this one, so it seems actually some of these came from the Remix repo example, and so I'm inherently trusting them a little bit. But again, we can pass a couple of parameters to that action, like we can tell it, don't use the log file. Should we use the log file? Maybe. If y'all have a really good reason for it, please put a PR in and we can update that. And then we let some type checking, the same thing. We have runs on for our operating system. We have steps for all the parts of the job. We use uses to call that third party or even our own. And we have this for all of our testing and whatnot. Here's Playwright. Lots of neat stuff we can do. So I told you at the beginning, we have triggers, and this one is triggered on workflow call. That means this one doesn't run automatically at all. It's only called from another workflow. And for that, I have an actual pull request workflow. And by the way, you'll notice that like when I have these, cute names with emojis and all of that, this is represented right over here. Every time you run a PR or, a workflow runs, you'll see those over here. That one is a deploy, not a pull request, but same thing. Here's where we see different types of triggers. So this one is only for pull requests, and I only want activity types of opened. So a PR was actually created. Synchronized, meaning you pushed up a new action, or you did a merge or a rebase or something like that, or reopened if somebody closed it, reopened it. There are other activity types. Somebody left a comment or somebody added a label. There's some other neat ones you can do, but our dev workflow runs on that. Here is where we actually call that development workflow, and you'll notice we're actually referencing our own repository for our GitHub workflows. All of those are always stored in .github workflows. So anytime you want to use somebody else's workflow, org/repo/github/workflows, and then some file name .yaml. One thing to notice is this one is got the @main directive. So this is basically making sure that it's only running off of the main branch. But you can see I'm actually playing with a Lighthouse runner to run some automated Lighthouse tests. And this is how you actually develop or test your workflows in your branch, in your PR. So you can actually go and add a workflow that points directly to the branch that your PR is based on. And now you can basically run this as you push updates to your PR. So you can run make some updates to your workflow file, push it up, see how it goes. If you go back to some of the ones where I was playing with either Cypress or Fly Deploy or some of these other ones, you can just see like I pushed like 10 or 15 times trying to solve deploy stuff, and then it works, and then I squash it, and hopefully nobody noticed how many commits it took me to make something run. The key on here though is as you're doing you're testing your workflows and stuff, is before your PR is merged, you have to update that back to @main, because once it's merged, that's where it's going to be located, is in @main. I often set myself a little to-do list on the PR in the description that kind of reminds myself and anybody else looking at it that needs to be done before merge. But okay, so we've learned a little bit about what a workflow file looks like, what it requires, things like it needs a trigger. You may have permissions. It has jobs. Jobs have steps. You can reference other jobs either from your own repo or other repos. And let's see. Let me stop and just ask if anyone has any questions before we go on. Just and not only questions about how does something work or how should something work, but like what else are we planning to do? What would y'all suggest? Like what have y'all found successful in your code bases or companies when you think about CI/CD? Also gives me a chance to take a drink. So no questions. Perfect. I've explained myself absolutely perfectly.
I got a question. It's not so
Yes.
much GitHub related. If I remember right, like the Flash Unix templates or stacks are coming with the type check, and it's TSC no emit. Is that because would you happen to know if is that because the Remix compiler has its own it's calling TSC itself, or is there something else going on that actually does emit?
It's in the TS config, I believe.
Oh, it is in the TSC. So this Brooks just recently added this. And why did you add this, Brooks?
So yeah,
Let
the
you
reason
explain
I
it.
added it to so we have two TS configs. One of this is just for the main app. The second one is for Playwright. And so yeah, you're absolutely right. So Remix handles like all the bundling themselves. They use ESBuild currently. And so yeah, they basically are just like, yeah, we don't need TypeScript to emit anything. It's really just a type checker, not a code creator essentially. So
There's something in the Remix compiler itself.
yeah,
Sounds like
they're doing it all for you essentially.
I'm assuming they're using TypeScript.
Yeah, I think their entire code base is typed, or at least 90%, enough to be effective. But yeah, the actual like emitting of code, they want to handle themselves and not use TSC. TSC works, but it's not the most optimized compiler you can have for emitting code. So yeah, it's also slower than ESBuild because inherently it's written in, Node at the moment ESBuild is written in Go. So it's a lot faster. That's the advantage you get from using something like ESBuild.
Yeah, you can see it exists in both our root TS config as well as our
Yeah, I forgot it the first time, and then this file kept showing up, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then realized I was emitting. That's what emit means, apparently. So,
Yeah, good question. All right, let's move on. So I wanted to share a little bit about what I have started working on, and this is also a good time for me to ask for y'all's opinion and help, and I'll have a PR coming someday. And what I am trying to do is this. I am trying to basically have the Lighthouse tests run on our site automatically when we merge to prod. There are some other use cases that would be neat, maybe checking Lighthouse scores on performance and accessibility before we go to prod. That probably requires us to actually have like some separate staging environments per PR. That's also something I'd like to do. I just created an issue for us to track. So if anybody's interested in working on that kind of thing, let us know. But let's see what page speed insights gives us right now. So how many people are familiar with using Lighthouse? All right, about half the room. So in general, I think Lighthouse does a few things for us. I think what I care most about typically, and let me blow this up just a tiny bit. So we're killing it. Look at all that green. I know performance dropped from 100 to 96. Oh my gosh. I can actually go and figure that out. But what we basically want to do is we're trying to protect our production environment so that it's fast, it's accessible. We're using our best practices, and we're getting some good SEO. It sounds like we may have even had some people find us via Google recently. So I'm very happy to hear that. But we want to be able to do this right now. I think first step is doing it on production. So I'm working on that. I'll show you what that looks like. But in the future, I'd love to be able to do this in separate staging environments. So I have created a couple of issues. So here's the one I started to work on, but again, like I'd love to have anybody else who'd like to collaborate on this. You can actually start just making comments in the issue. And I kind of outline a little bit about what we're looking to accomplish here. And actually, while I'm here, we also care about best practices and SEO. Cool. What that looks like, just so you see, because I'm starting to check time here, and I'm gonna wrap this up in a bit. What we see here is I've created this Lighthouse workflow, and you can see I'm basically going through and starting to check out code, starting to use this action that somebody Treosh created anyway. Again, found it on the internet, but I have a little bit of, I think it's reputable. Passing it our production URL, giving it some budget information about things like, hey, we want to make sure we break the pipeline, or we send an alert, or we do something if our performance drops by some amount, or accessibility drops by some amount, or something like that. We want to upload artifacts so we can actually get that nice HTML report that we just saw, maybe in PRs, and do stuff like that. And so I think that as well as you can imagine, there's all sorts of other like automation we could do, in our CI/CD pipeline. But I think the main reason for walking you all through this today is just to let you know, here's how we're doing things. Here's a couple of the requirements or gotchas you might find as you're playing in these workflow YAML files. And then I think here in a moment, we start kind of hacking around and get you guys set up those laptops on with development environments. Is you could actually go and pick an issue that we've got on the repo and hopefully feel comfortable like working on it. So I think that's basically all I've really got. Brooks, did I miss anything that was important?
You did not.
Okay.
But I do have an announcement.
Okay.
Justin is going to give a 5-minute talk.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we got him. We reeled him in. So
Let's go.
but no, this is awesome. Thank you
Lightning
so
talk.
much. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the repo after Justin goes. So definitely more on this. But yeah, that was super helpful. Definitely, I honestly learned stuff. So GitHub Actions is a really cool, but
It's a little new to me as well. But if a dummy like me can learn it, you guys
Yeah,
are
you
gonna
guys,
just
for all of us.
slam dunk it.
So my lightning talk is about using Remix in like an existing enterprise. So in enterprises, usually you have a lot of like design systems where they have components they've already built in React that do lots of different things for your UI. And because a lot of those were built within the last 10 years, they don't take into account one of Remix's best features, which is server-side rendering. So in that environment on the server, you don't have access to anything that the browser has that Node.js does not have, which includes the window object, the document object, and things like there's lots of different classes, like actual HTML elements. So when you do server-side rendering, what some people may not know is that it's all fake. It's not an actual real browser doing anything. So it's just sort of a theoretical output of HTML code that's happening. So you have to make sure not to have that. But the problem is when you're using Remix and you import other people's packages from NPM, if you ever check your node modules, you probably have hundreds of them. You're bound to run into a problem where a certain package doesn't properly support server-side rendering. And at that point, you're kind of getting these weird error messages about so-and-so is undefined. And usually they're minified, which says like A is undefined. And you're like, what the hell is A? So basically, I've found some cool ways to fix that. It's a package on an NPM called Patch Package. If you haven't heard of it, And basically what it allows you to do is you can go into your node modules and actually just modify the code that somebody else made from NPM and create what's called a little patch. And it gets stored into your Git or into your Git repo along with the rest of your code. And every single time you run NPM install, it will actually go in and change that file. So you can basically commit it to your code base and have your own custom version that's patching a broken package. So I ran into this a whole bunch. There was something like 40 something different errors that were coming in from a enterprise package that we used. And it turned out that they had 20 separate packages. You had to import one package, that imported all 20 of those packages, and all of them had server-side rendering errors in them. So creating PRs for 20 separate things was not in the budget and in the time frame. So this saved my life. So I'll give you a quick example of this is useful. Is there's a nice little thing called React Modal. And as you probably know, people use modals all the time on websites, and using something off NPM, you're like, I'm gonna go grab React Modal. Luckily, they fixed this problem since then, but in version 3.11.2, and if you've ever worked in an enterprise, you know upgrading package versions is going to take you like 2, 3, 4 months to get it through PR review with people sometimes. So this version that they have locked to has this bug. And basically what it is that they set a default here is this actual line of code, is that if you don't pass in an element for them to attach the modal to, which is usually the body, they will set it to the body by default. So the body of your HTML DOM. And then they try to call this thing called set attribute, which only exists in the browser. And so a lot of these packages on NPM have stuff like this, where they expect you to be using this in the browser. And then of course, this runs and all of SSR breaks and you can't actually render your Remix website. And it can be very frustrating to try to figure that out. The fastest way to figure this out in the real world is to just use MDN web docs. And if you see something in your errors, the way we found this one was this element.setAttribute. What had happened is if you guys remember the package prop types, which people don't really use anymore, somebody said that the default props for something was set to an element. And when that happened, basically it broke all of SSR. And so we had to change that and patch it out. And that allowed us to move on and fix our problems within 1 week, as opposed to within 2, 3, 4 months. So go on here, search for things that are only existing in the browser, and then use npm patch package and jump into your node modules, fix it. And that's it. Quick talk. Maybe I'll give a longer talk next time.
That's great.